It's been 4 months and some days of me being in this business. And the way I'm seeing things, I don't think if this year is going to be a welcoming year for me in this business. That's the way how I'm seeing things for me and for most of the poultry farmers out there. Well, my name is Jacob. I'm a poultry farmer currently doing layers on this poultry farm. We are having less than 1,000 birds in here, and they are anytime from now giving us at least an egg on this poultry farm. So as you guys know, like for the past, let me say a month ago, the weather hasn't been all that good. Like the way we were expecting, the weather is not how it turned out to be. Initially, like some years ago, we would expect rains to rain November throughout, and then a little bit of December, we would be getting some droplets of rain during the month. But unfortunately, this year was very, very different. Really, really different. People really planted first season quite well, of which I also did, of course, with the soybean, of course, and then it was all that good. And then during the second season, people wanted to put all of the efforts or all of the results that they have gotten from the first season and then put it all in the second season, hoping to get a bigger thing at the end of the day. But guess what? All of us were fooled out. By November, I think by 5th or something, that's when we last seen rainfall in our area here. I'm in northern Uganda, and as I talk right now, the maize is just drying in the garden. The soybean is just drying in the garden. And what that one means that not only crop farmers are going to be affected, we also, as poultry farmers, we are going to be affected even in a bigger percentage compared to the crop farmers. Because in poultry farming, the major sources of ingredients is the soybean and then of course the maize, of which right now is drying in the garden. So sometimes ago when I was buying maize directly from the stores and then mixing it to my birds over here, I started buying them at 600, that's a kilo. And then it didn't take much time, it went to 700, and then when it reached 800, that's when it took a little bit of time to leave that amount. But as I speak right now, it has actually risen from 800 to 1,000 Uganda shillings just within a week. So you can see where it is going to be putting us in the next, let's say, in the next month or so. Just wondering how much we are going to be spending on the poultry feeds alone. That's of course with the maize. And then with the soya, I have actually been buying the ready-made soybean and then mixing it with my poultry feeds, of course, to make a complete feed for the birds. But when I tried to do the calculations, I found out that in my area here, soybean was at 1,400. That's a kilo. And then, of course, if you roast it and then mill it, it would cost me something like 1,700 Uganda shillings, which after these feeds, which I'm having currently in the store, get finished, that's what I'm trying to be doing on this farm. I'm actually going to be sharing with you how I'm going to be mixing the soybean, right from roasting it, milling it, and then comparing it to the soybean that I was buying, of course, from Kampala. When you try to see, from Kampala, I was buying a kilogram at 2,800. Yeah, that's a kilogram. And then, of course, if you put transport, because I'm a little bit far, they would put on the bus. And then at the end of the day, if it reaches the farm, you will find me spending about 3,500 on a kilogram of the soya that I'm getting from Kampala. That's why I said, look, I have to find ways of cutting down the costs in my poultry feeds. You know, with poultry feeds some between 70 to 90% of your cost of production, meaning that if you don't do it well, at the end of the day, you won't get any money out of the project, because all of the money that you'll be getting out of the project will definitely be going all to the poultry feeds. And remember, poultry feeds is not the only expense that you would have on the farm. Remember, you need water, you need vaccines, you need labor, stuff like that, of course, for your poultry farm to run successful. So if you don't be very keen in finding a way on how you can cut down the costs in the poultry feeds, then running your poultry farm is going to be a little bit hard for you. So if we are to mix the soybeans ourselves, of course, we should roast, and then because you cannot give raw soybean to your birds, that is toxic. So we must roast, and then after that, we give to our birds. And then if I do that, I would be saving at least 190 to 200 Uganda shillings in every 1 ton of feeds that I'm mixing. So you don't know how much that money is. Like, let's say in a month, of course, that's close to, let's say, 1 million, you know, or even more than that. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing. And then if I find the results are good, then definitely that's where I'm going to be sticking. And then eventually the costs will also be down. In here, let me first try to show you. In here, our layer birds are at 16 weeks and then 5 days. But we have not yet gotten an egg. But of course, there are signs that these birds are about to lay or about to give us at least an egg. Because you can see from the weight of the birds, from how the birds are, how do they call it, crawling, whatever. So you can always tell that anytime from now, we should be at least getting an egg from these birds. And by the end of this month, we should be at our peak, or the highest peak. Of course, that is 90+% in production. So this is actually very sad to hear. Of course, weather, which we should actually be very, very keen right now, because if we are not keen, then at the end of the day, we will definitely not have anything out of the farm. Because most of these businesses that we start, we want to at least get something out of it at the end of the day. Of course, that is the profit. So if you're out there, I'm sure that this weather has not only affected where I am, Olamore district, or northern Uganda. I've seen on social media platforms people posting videos of the maize drying up, like in very many areas. And then I've seen some people trying to irrigate, but again, they are late because they assume that maybe the rain will come, and then because of waiting in vain, They have spent some time and then there is no rain, so they are trying to irrigate so that at least they can get something from what they have planted. Remember, for you to reach a stage whereby your maize is flowering, you have spent a lot of money on the seeds, on plowing, on weeding, of course, twice, on everything. So if it now goes all like that, then I can feel the pain because I'm a poultry farmer and at the same time, I'm a crop farmer. Only that in this second season, when I was planning to bring up these birds over here, I said, no, I cannot handle two things at a go. So in this second season, I didn't put a seed in the soil. I'm not saying I'm grateful for that. No, I'm not, because I'm actually going to be affected more than when I was actually doing it myself. Like the maize is actually going to shoot up. I'm expecting by January for the maize to be at 1,500 Uganda shillings, which it will be terrible. Almost close to twice the price that we were getting initially. And again, there are certain things that we can do in order to prevent all of these things that are happening. Like one, you can stock up the maize, of course, when it is harvesting time. And then by the time the prices shoot up, you are safe having at least some tons of maize, which is going to take you at least some time to feed your birds. And after they get finished, you will be sure that the next maize is being harvested. Otherwise, that is that, which is very sad to both the poultry farmers and then the crop farmers. But yeah, regardless, we still move. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and then share the video to your beloved ones. That way, it will help them in running their poultry farms as well. See you.